All right, let's talk about one simple technique that is going to fundamentally change how you talk to AI. Seriously. It's a straightforward method that will help you get instantly better, more useful answers from tools like ChatGPT, and it's easier than you think. So, does this sound familiar? You go to ChatGPT, you ask it a question, and what you get back is, well, it's fine. It's technically correct, but it's also bland, generic, and not really tailored to what you actually need, right? It feels like you're reading a textbook when what you really wanted was a conversation with an expert. And that is the difference we're talking about. On the one hand, you have that wall of text, that generic AI output. But what we want is something clear, something targeted, and something genuinely useful. The gap between these two, it's surprisingly easy to bridge. So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about why we get those generic answers in the first place. Then, I'm going to give you a super simple formula to fix it. After that, we'll see the wild difference it makes with a clear example. And finally, we'll touch on how to take this skill to the next level. Okay, so let's get right into it. You're talking to one of the most powerful language models ever created. So why are the results so often just kind of average? Well, it's usually because you're missing one simple but incredibly effective trick. And this isn't some complex coding or advanced prompt engineering. Nope, it's just a basic shift in how you ask your questions. And that trick is the persona. That's it. It's just a role, a character, or a job that you give the AI before you even ask your question. You're not just talking to a generic machine anymore. You're talking to a specific expert that you've just created for the task. So, for example, instead of just asking, hey, is this a good investment? You give it a role first. You say, act as a financial advisor, and then you ask your question. See? By giving it a role, you give it context, a specific library of knowledge to draw from, and a point of view to respond from. This brings us to the core of the technique. It's not just about picking a random role. There's a simple 4-step framework you can use every single time to build the perfect persona for any task you have. And the framework has 4 simple parts. First up, the role. Who is the AI? A teacher, a marketer, a chef? Second, the audience. Who are you talking to? A complete beginner, a team of experts? Third, the goal. What are you trying to do here? Persuade somebody? Educate them? And finally, the format. How do you want the answer structured? As a story, maybe a bulleted list, or an email? Now this is where it gets really fun. Let's see this formula in action with a clear before and after. This is going to make the power of using personas crystal clear. Okay, so here's our starting point. A totally standard generic prompt that millions of people have probably typed in. Explain photosynthesis. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not asking for anything special, is it? And pretty predictably, you get a generic answer. It's this dry, encyclopedic definition. And again, it's correct, but it's not engaging or helpful at all if you're, say, trying to explain it to a kid. It's a real snooze fest. But now, look at this. We're using our 4-part formula. The role, a science teacher. The audience, a 5th grade class. The goal, make it simple and fun. And the format, a short story. We've given the AI a complete mission to accomplish. And boom, look at the result. The answer is completely transformed. It's engaging, it's memorable, and it is perfectly tailored to the audience we defined. It's not just information anymore. It's a story. That is the power of a well-defined persona. And you know, this works for absolutely everything. If you assign the persona of a teacher, you get simple, clear explanations. If you assign the persona of a copywriter, you'll get persuasive language that's designed to sell something. The role you give it dictates the result you get. Okay, so once you get comfortable with that basic formula, you can start to add another layer to get even more precise, more nuanced responses from your AI assistant. The trick is to just add layers of detail to your persona. So don't just say financial advisor. Say a senior financial advisor with 20 years of experience. Don't just say your audience is beginners. Specify what they know and what they don't know. And you can even add a specific tone. Do you want the AI to sound witty, formal, or maybe empathetic? These extra details, they act like a filter. They sharpen the AI's focus. You're moving from a generic question to a super specific request, and that forces the AI to deliver a response that's perfectly tuned to your exact needs. So, the most important thing to remember is this. Using personas is the single fastest way to level up your AI game. Whether you use the simple 4-step formula or start adding those advanced layers, this one method is going to immediately and dramatically improve your results. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. If we can now give AI a specific job, a tone, and even a personality, what does that mean for the future of how we work with these tools? Are we moving past just giving instructions and into a new era of true, nuanced collaboration? Definitely something to think about.